Hello, and welcome along to episode 26 of Soulforged. Today I have playing with me Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I am playing Winona Barrelite.
I have Jay.
Hey, I'm Jay. I'm playing Kai.
I have Alora.
Hi, I'm Alora. I'm playing Karina.
I have Jamel.
Hey guys, Jamel here. Back again at last, playing Galthak.
And I have Josh.
I'm Josh. I will be playing Luca Wicks and his BFFL Vero.
I'd like to know why I bother to change the GIF. What happens, right, is I change the GIF, I go back to the starting soon screen, and when we get back to this page, it's already reverted to its previous one. Like, why do I do it before session?
Wow.
Very cool.
It's just every time, it just changes itself back. I'm like, I mean, to be fair, I think it knows how I feel when it wants to take levels away from you.
Whoa.
It feels a little harsh. I always want to take levels away. I'm like, no, they've got too many. Take them away. They're too powerful. That being said, you displayed your power beautifully in the last episode by shracking and wrecking on some raiders. At the end of the fight, you cleared out the remains of a red ship that had run sort of onto the rocks of the island, which is why the raiders had taken their stand there. It was not salvageable as a boat, but the loot itself was salvageable. You're able to find a few things out about it. And then is on the island as you proceed out from the wreckage, your dragon bone bow and other such loot in hand, that we return. And over to you.
Well, mission accomplished. Galthak, you did amazing. What was your favorite part of the battle?
Oh, we lived.
I'll drink to that.
I
Where-
have one of those tucked away in my pack here. No, no drinks here. I have
Damn.
to go back somewhere and grab one.
Didn't we just get... No, we just got like a loot drink.
To be fair, he doesn't know about that though, because Jamal doesn't watch the episode back, did he?
I have to remember what that does.
Wait, we got drink.
Yeah.
Literally.
You have an everlasting bottle of rum.
There it is.
Oh, that's not a tankard of ale. Come on.
No, it's not a tankard of ale. It's an everlasting
Come
bottle of ale.
on. It's rum.
Yeah, it's everlasting. I think that's the more exciting bit.
I mean, sure. You raise a good point. You
Yeah,
raise
that's
a very
too
good point.
Everlasting is definitely the selling point there, not the
Yeah.
drink that it is.
I mean, sure. I guess a tankard of rum. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay.
Oh, actually,
Yes.
yeah, I can get behind that.
So yeah, let's pour drinks all around except for the expecting
Hope that it's not
mother.
empty.
Yeah, I
Drunk
will
your
lean
way
over the
stalked
edge
by
of
a
the cliff
kraken.
and call out an all clear to Katrikan and the crew.
Yeah, I mean, she is. The soldiers had already sort of advanced, and she comes up and sort of. You fought so well. I'm sorry we were late. It's the best I could do.
I'm surprised to see you at all.
Well, yes, desperate times, as they say. Chivalry is still up at the border with Scrandia. Verity was more useful in the tower, directing him, and he didn't want to go against his father's direct orders. And the king was uncooperative, to say the least.
What do you mean by that?
His mind wanders. He believes that
Yeah.
perhaps there was no threat here at all. It was a false alarm.
Hmm.
He refused to send soldiers for fear that it would weaken his own borders, his own hold.
Wow.
Like a
What's
snake
the point of
bristling in
having Verity do all this if he's not going to follow his visions, you know?
I cannot speak more on that matter without speaking words that I could not call back.
I think if my mind had been taken over by the enemy, I would have a pretty heavy dose of paranoia as well.
Yes.
That's fair.
I am not sure that it was truly the king's decision that the soldiers were not sent here. That's as much as I can say.
Mm.
One of those 3 times signed orders thing.
Ah,
is what she's implying, but I'm not sure.
right. Who signs those things?
So
The
the idea is
Queen?
that the Queen and the Chancellor would need to sign it as well. They were happy to send the soldiers, but he wouldn't sign it.
Ah.
I mean, you need all three rather than just a sheer majority.
Well, of course.
Right.
The King is the King.
Yeah.
They can sign off his orders, but he can't. They can't sign off orders without him, right? That's not how that works.
Touche. Yeah, yeah.
They're making sure he doesn't make an order that he doesn't truly mean, but what they can't do is make him make an order that he doesn't truly mean not to. Wow, that's a sentence. Yeah. if they think he would make it, but his mind is turning, then they can't make him make it. God, let's leave this issue behind. He didn't send any soldiers.
Given that the order was not given and you are here,
The king said, I will not send my soldiers. So I had the Chancellor announce that we were taking volunteers for the Queen's Guard, or rather the Princess in Waiting's Guard, Katrikan's Guard, they call it the Vixen Guard. Because these soldiers are
Wow.
specifically assigned only to me, they're not the King's soldiers to command, so I was not breaking any rules by bringing them. I'm not so into the convoluted politics, but Queen Constance assured me that this would work.
well, I'm glad you're here.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm glad the soldiers are here. As for me, the boat was not a pleasant journey. I was sick enough as it was in the mornings without being rocked side to side. That being said, I think I'd like to get back. You'll continue your patrol.
I guess so. How much longer do they want us to patrol these waters?
Another 6.5 months till winter comes.
Oh man, that baby is going to pop out.
Yes,
All right.
They normally pop is a strange word. She's walking down the street.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, like how the Sims have babies.
Yeah, exactly. A wild Katrikan daughter appears. Awesome.
Oh boy.
Well, you guys know,
Well.
because I think you already know what they're going to name it. But yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I hope we can sway her into choosing a different name in these next 6 months.
Instead of a, well, is it fair to call it a disappointing name? A bit dull and
We don't know
boring.
yet. Let's discuss that as and when it happens.
Sure.
In the meantime, what's the plan?
Yeah.
Back on the boat, patrol away.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Count our losses.
Yep, Graf and Brashen obviously waited on the boat. You did
Um,
lose.
Sorry. Do we know what that symbol is in the sand?
Yes, so this was when the caster who caused you so much trouble, the captain of the raiders, this is the magic he used to bring down the tower itself. The tower will be rebuilt. Karina will quickly acknowledge that breaking the markings on the floor, so that even just scuffing them out on the sand is enough to prevent it from working again. It was quite powerful magic used. It's like a sort of almost a ritual cast of Earthquake.
Whoa, cool.
But yeah,
Jeez.
utilizing. So it's like a group have put their magic together to cast a spell that will be beyond any single one of them. And then they've put it on some sort of scroll or book, and he's had to draw it out and then read the scroll out, and that's what's happened.
It's an interesting way of doing it.
Dang. This tower.
That's gone. It's just, currently Luca and Wix are just sat on. Luca and Wix? Wow. Luca and Winona are just sat on one of the beams of rock that's come down. They're just chilling on the side of it,
Yeah,
feet
on the
kicking.
rubble.
Yeah.
Well, then, back to the boat, everyone. What do we think?
So yeah, Graf and Brashen obviously waiting for you in the boat. Some of the crew members, some of the soldiers predominantly, and a couple of the archers have fallen. Katrikan offers some of her own Vixen guard to refill the ranks. So you will leave with as many soldiers as you came with, but the soldiers are less. they're better with swords and far less well trained on boats.
Oh, so like the opposite of what we had before.
You had a mixture before. You had soldiers that couldn't sail and sailors that couldn't soldier. Now you've got some more soldiers that can't sail, but they're even worse at sailing than the previous soldiers you had because they haven't had 3 months training.
Nice.
Well, the training's got to start sometime.
Well, sailors and soldiers are getting competent enough to be able to train more within their own ranks, right? So
Perfect.
It's good. It's good. Progress is being made. Is there anything else you guys would like to do? Hopping on said boat.
I'd imagine between all the soldiers, we take the time to bury the dead.
Of course. Well, not bury them, no. They'd be put out to sea. So a raft is made for them. They're all lined up one after another, and bits of heraldry are given to them. Sometimes, their weapons or any personal effects are laid upon their chest. People say messages. Some people put little there's not much to find here, but there's a few bits of greenery. They put little bits of greenery in a bottle to represent their good wishes. It's all placed upon the raft, and the raft is pushed out into the sea. An archer with a flaming arrow, one that can actually aim, will set the boat alight. The burning ship will proceed out to sea. Well, ship is a glorious word for a raft, but yes.
Ooh.
Okay. You jump back upon the boat, and Graf sort of expresses his frustration that you guys don't even get the time to return briefly to Valaris for a couple of days respite after that, but are instead forced to continue your patrol back up towards White Island, and it's about 24 hours. So you can each take a long rest if you haven't already. I think I've already long rested all your characters, but yeah. It's about 24 hours later, as the boat is sort of idly floating by, that you encounter the Regal racing towards towards Antler Island. It seems that nobody remembered to inform them that
What?
the fight was done.
That it was done.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're racing towards it, and it's not going to matter.
Oh no.
But I'm sure once you see them, you'll hail them and tell them such.
Wave as we just casually sail by.
Well, obviously, at that point, they'll see that you're sailing away from it, and they'll know that something.
No, we're legging it. We're running.
We're retreating.
Oh dear. Yeah. Let's post that. Does anyone know where my ship music is? It's just ran off. It's quite upsetting. I'm desperately looking for it, and it's
Ran off or sailed off?
Yes. It's one of the above. But anyway, it's a couple of weeks go by. You guys are able to pop back into Valaris for 3 or 4 days, get some time to relax, and a couple of days after that, as you're sailing back out down to the south, we'll pick up on the boat. Just a regular Wednesday morning. It's early lunchtime. What are you guys doing?
If we've already had lunch, then I think Luke over are just flying around. But if we haven't had lunch yet, then Luke is probably asking when lunch will be.
So there's a galley where there is a pot of stew regularly on the go, sailor's stew, and ship's biscuit provided in stacks for those who... that is lunch. You come in, you get it when you're ready, and you walk off with it. Today there is pieces of fish in a separate stew pot in the water that you can hook out with like a ladle with a hole in it. So you can add fish to your stew, and it's a vegetable stew. Hard vegetables, like root vegetables that last longer. So root vegetable stew with ship's biscuit and fish if you want it.
Sure.
It's very standard.
Luke's not really in
fare.
a mood for it, but sure.
You've had it every lunchtime for the last 3 weeks. It's worse when there's no fish available.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'll take it when there's fish available then.
Yeah. You sort of all see each other vaguely, grabbing your lunch. I'm most interested in Winona. What is Winona doing? I just
On the
obviously your
boat?
level up has provided you with some new things. I wonder when they might come into play.
New things? Well,
Have you forgotten that you leveled up last week and gave yourself a strange subclass that none of us knew what it did? We were taking
I did
bets
not
pre-session
forget.
on what subclass you'd created. I wondered if you were going to turn up with a steel defender.
No. I chose one of these homebrew ones. Because I thought it sounded so cool for Winona, so I guess she's practicing her calligraphy, because now I have proficiency in that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this... I feel like Winona has been trying to study up more on her magical crafting. So I took the... How do you say this word? Archivist?
Yep, Archivist.
Yes. So I imagine I am trying to maybe get some tips from Karina on, taking good notes and things, and practicing my magical tinkering. And I imagine anytime we stop in a town, I am trying to get some books to study. I feel like Winona is very much on Katrikin's same mindset about, this thing with the elderly is being the answer. So I feel like she's really trying to study as much as she can about the lore and the history of these things. That's kind of what I'm up to.
Okay, with that one, hold that thought. We'll come back to that shortly.
Sure.
Yep. Is anybody else doing anything particularly interesting? Okay. It's a couple of hours later that you receive a bit of a garbled message, Karina. It says, there are problems with Kepit. I don't know how this works. The secret is out. Please, can you advise... And it just cuts. You don't recognize the voice.
Goodness.
I don't recognize the voice at all.
No, I don't think so. You can give me a history check, just on the off chance. But, like, it has to be a proper high check.
Oh, no problem.
+6?
6?
No, it's +6, which means it's a 26.
You got a nat 20?
I rolled a 20.
Well, there you go.
There it is. I told you.
You don't
No
recognize
problem.
the voice at all. But you do remember the court mage, when you were there last, talking about sending for an old apprentice friend of his who was studying in Iskrandia. And you kind of put two and two together and work out that that's probably him.
Man.
The message sounds like it's written by Mrs. Higgs. Or being translated word for word by Mrs. Higgs would be a better way of saying it. So she's saying a word and he's saying it. And then a moment later, you hear, I'm sorry for that. She didn't realize there was a limit. Your house mistress requests that you return home as soon as you can. Perhaps you could contact. That's it. Perhaps you could contact. That's where he stops. I've run out of words.
The cliffhangers.
You can send two replies if you want to the garbled message and then get interrupted, and then to the proper message. But
I'll just say we'll do our best to return swiftly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will go and find Kai.
Okay. It's not hard. It's a quite small boat. You find him. You find them moments later.
I've just been told that there's possible issues with Kepit.
Oh.
I'm not sure entirely what's going on. That staff that we picked up before might be a way to get us home very quickly.
Ooh.
Right. Should it be all of us, or?
I think it's best if we stick together. We probably need to discuss with the captain about where to rejoin.
What's the cooldown on the stuff for casting teleport? Is it once a day?
Gains charges in the morning.
Yeah. Uses 7 charges, recharges in the morning.
Recharges all 7 or like 1d6 plus 1 the following day?
I believe it's d6 plus 1.
So worst comes to worst.
A
you know,
d6
days
plus
later, you
4.
can just teleport. Well, there you go. Minimum 2 days, and you can just teleport back.
Mm-hmm.
Rejoining shouldn't be too difficult, just need to wait out a day. It would be more having to know the exact location of where to get back to.
Yeah, I'm wondering how teleporting onto a...
Probably have to ask them to stop at a city in 2 days' time, or perhaps just I'll send them a message tomorrow and see where they are.
As per the rules, as long as you take something to which something is place which one is journeying or to which something is sent, so you could easily
That's
take
true.
a piece of wood from the boat, and you will always be able to transfer to it at that point. Something like
That's
that.
cool.
That's as per Jeremy Crawford. So.
Okay, that makes things easier.
The only issue, apparently,
definitely-
sorry, I've got to read this because it's hilarious. The only issue that I could see from this is if you try and teleport more people than will fit on the surface you're trying to transport to. Like someone's trying to transport 80 people onto a rowing boat or something.
That
I
sounds
just
like an interesting
loved the
bit.
qualification. But yes, you can teleport back to the boat with no problem.
Okay. Gather the party, inform the captain.
Graf sort of, well, inconvenient,
will-
but we haven't seen a fight in 2 weeks. If we see somebody, we will pursue, but we will not make physical contact unless we are assured of our victory.
We'll return as fast as we can, and I will also send a message directly to Mrs. Higgs before we go. I've received a message in your name. Please reply and let me know that this is not a trap. If you're in danger, say shark.
She messages back shortly and says, no danger. I just thought you'd wish to be apprised of the news. The king in waiting is abdicating.
The be chivalry?
Excuse me?
Ew.
Excuse me?
Well, we know that chivalry is the king of waiting. There is no other king.
No, I said who's he advocating to?
Okay. You abdicate, meaning that he is giving up his position as the
Yeah,
king
that's
in
what I
waiting.
said. To who?
It would go next to.
Oh, you mean who will be
Verity?
the next king in waiting? Verity.
Yeah.
Right, is that him choosing, or is that just...
He doesn't get to choose.
Who's
no.
next in line?
He would get to
Okay.
choose if he was the king, but he is not the king. He is the king in waiting. So it would be the king's choice, but you would assume the progression line would be adhered to, given that his other choice is an unborn child, or his nephew who doesn't really turn up at the city much. Yeah, or potentially Kepit. So you'd assume that it's probably going to be Verity.
Otherwise, it's going to be a regent council of some form, more than likely.
Nope,
Yeah.
no such thing. There is a line of progression down
Really?
to 27th person who carries the blood of the royalty. I did list some of these off to you before. You've met one of them, the Lady Celerity. She is the wife of the Duke of Sandsedge. It was her dog that you fixed.
So then,
Aw.
in that case, out of curiosity, what happens then if the line of progression were to go to the literal child?
Then there would be a regent put in place, probably his mother.
Yeah, no, okay, right, yeah, that,
I mean,
yeah.
it'd be very weird if Prince Verity ruled as Prince Regent instead of as Prince. Like, that just wouldn't make any sense.
No, I get you, yeah. No, I was just curious about that one specific thing.
This is big.
I don't. This is, yeah, very surprising. I mean, maybe it's not so surprising. It's kind of chaos right now. I don't think I'd want to run a country either.
Still, did chivalry seem I mean, what could have made him do this so suddenly? This is a gigantic decision.
Maybe he wants to focus on the baby making part, or lack thereof.
Makes sense to me.
Maybe he's thinking, since the DM looks confused, maybe he's thinking, if I can't be king in the sheets, how can I be king of a country?
Confidence issues.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
his
he
confidence
can't-
was shaken.
Yeah.
He's discovered that he's sired a child, so he's decided to abdicate to focus on having a child? Creating a child?
Wait,
Mhm.
what?
Nice logic.
Wait, what? I thought the whole point was that they couldn't have a kid.
Right,
so
okay.
confused.
No.
Okay, let's do some noting. Let's do some recapping.
Yeah.
In chivalry, his wife is Lady Patience. Okay? They've been
Yeah.
together for almost 8 years.
Is he not the one?
Sired a child. Okay.
And
However-
that's not the one that's advocate.
He
Yeah.
holds the phone, listen, not talk. Ears, not mouth. Right? He has decided for the last 8 years he has been with Lady Patience, and they have been unable to sire a child. That being said, he had managed to sire a bastard born slightly before he married Lady Patience. Kepit, who Karina has been looking for. Therefore, obviously, the problem is not with him. His
Right,
fish are
so-
capable of swimming, but they can't find a
Right.
decent place to take rest. So it doesn't matter
Right.
how hard he focuses
Gross.
in the sheets, she's not going to
I don't
suddenly
know.
manifest the ability to have a word.
I don't know. It could still be a him problem.
He has discovered that he has a bastard child that he thought was dead in the raid, and has discovered that it is alive. And as it has become relatively public knowledge, there is a problem with Kepit, as you were told. He has abdicated the throne.
What's his problem?
Why don't you teleport there and ask him?
Okay, so that's not information we know.
Let's teleport
You've
home.
been
No,
told
it's
he's abdicated the throne.
Well, is Karina gonna give him up? Because I thought she adopted him.
by a gingerhead housekeeper with glasses who's quite good at preparing excellent meals. She probably
Okay.
doesn't know
Oh,
the
yeah.
inner workings of the of the king in waiting.
Okay, I guess my question then is, if Karina adopted him, will she give him back?
Let's find
Wait a
out.
minute.
Let's
Let's find out.
Beautiful. I love
Okay.
that. Where are you teleporting to? And for the love of God, don't say Valaris. Give me a little bit more detail. Like, how
I
dramatic
almost
is
just
this?
said
entrance? Yeah. How
Let's
dramatic
do-
is this entrance?
like-
Is what I want
it's
to know.
like- Where else?
I mean, we
I
could-
guess it'd be sensible.
We
Karina's
could go on
house?
holiday
I
and
would
go to
think
like the
Virgin.
Spice Isles.
Shut up, Josh. I'll kill you.
Whoa! Why do we always have to stay on track? Why can't we have a detour?
Where in Valaris are you teleporting to?
I would believe we would go to Karina's house.
Okay, the side of the drama. Beautiful.
Yes!
I
The
love
backyard,
the
just to
backyard.
not show up in the living room.
The
Into the
barbecue
thick of
area
it.
of the drama. Okay. As you, I like the image that you've got the staff in hand, and sort of with that, everybody's linked hand by hand, and the last person, probably Karina, also grips the staff with you and your other hand. And as you sort of visualize your destination, you are all whisked away and suddenly reappear in Karina's garden. Immediately, you will hear the faint sound of sobbing in the background. A pair of raised voices, both male and adult. And yeah, that's about it.
Oh
Is
my
everything
gosh.
coming from inside the house?
Yeah. Doors
Who
are
does it
open,
sound like
windows are
cry-
open.
Who sounds
Nobody
like
that
they're
you
crying?
a woman, not Mrs.
Okay.
Higgs. Or Miss Higgs. I don't know. Is she married? No, she's married to her job. She's Miss Higgs. Let's be real.
I will march in the back door.
Okay. As you come in, you see Kepit sat on a sort of a little chair, clutching a teddy that you don't recognize. Knelt before him is the Lady Patience. In a room over, you can hear two voices raised and arguing. You recognize them to be Chivalry and Verity. Occasionally, a voice of reason intercepts, which you believe is Riddle.
Lady Patience.
Well, I guess it was taken out of our hands. The secret was neither mine nor yours to keep in the end.
Would you mind taking Cabot to his room?
Are you asking Miss Higgs or Patience?
I'm asking the Lady Patience if she wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, okay. She is sort of flooding with tears. It is her that has been, a total crying mess. She's sort of, why don't you take me to your room? And he sort of nods and, leads her upstairs.
Turn and I'll walk into the other room.
Okay. You hear Verity, you can't leave me with this responsibility. Can't leave me to run a country while you abscond. All because what? Lay with a woman? Accidents happen. How many people know? Chivalry sort of shrugs his shoulders. He sort of... I don't know what I suggest you do, but... Chivalry sort of turns and turns to Riddle, and Riddle sort of says, well, there's always, other solutions. If you know that the child exists, maybe no one need know that the child existed. Chivalry sort of turns back and don't do what you can't... no, I'm going to get the sentence right. Don't do something unless you know what you can't undo and after you've done it.
My thoughts exactly.
Karina. Riddle sort of looks one side, looks the other, and you can see him almost looking for an escape as he backs up towards the door. Chivalry and Verity are stood sort of face to face, opposing each other. Chivalry sort of whirls on you, and you didn't think to tell me?
Have you seen what's been going on in the royal family recently?
Do you not think I would like to know that my son is alive? Forget the pebbles of politics.
At the time, I wasn't even aware of whose son he may be. What was important was that he was safe and he was alive.
Well, I suppose you've done that well enough, but a word of warning at least. I was riding into town.
Would have been given to you.
I was riding into the city from Iskrandia. When I saw a boy playing out in the middle of the street, I waited for him to move out the way, and I looked down, and it's my son. Can you imagine how that felt? I mourned him, I mourned him!
Yeah.
All I knew was that he was alone. Don't put this on me. You're the one who slept around and then left.
Well, do I know the prices of my mistakes? Well, do I know the prices? What's done is done. I cannot take the boy, It would be highly inappropriate. And most difficult for my lady wife.
People do adopt all the time.
Well then, have at it. I would ask a favor, though. My man, Burek, the stable master. I would ask that he is closely involved in the raising of the child. He knows my principles, my morality, and my ideals. I would like them handed down, stories of me, etc.
If your intention isn't to raise him, why are you abdicating?
the news will out. And right now, the people need stability. People need an unmuddied line of progression. My brother is married with an heir. We circumnavigate a problem that'll happen maybe 20 years down the line. It'll weaken my stance with the Dukes if I have a son who is not my lawfully wedded child. Not to mention the pain it would cause my wife. It is for the best. And as he says, there's an acid voice from the corner. Says, "Oh yes, the best. Always what you do. Exactly what hurts the most. Hurts everybody equally, I imagine, and makes it most difficult for everybody. Yes. The best. Well, I guess you didn't ask anybody else's opinion on it, did you? Where are we abdicating to, husband?" Lady Patience sort of looks over and turns to Eucarina. "The child is settled in his room. I would have called him Thomas." With that, she bursts back into tears and runs out the front door.
Gosh, you can't swing a cat round here without hitting some family trouble.
So,
And I'll point to the fruit bowl as anyone. I'll pick up an apple.
so he does not want this kid.
It's not a case necessarily if he doesn't want the kid, like he's already said. You know, he'd mourned the child once already. It's more a case of his barren wife adopting a child that he had with another woman is not something he will cause her to do, as her heart is already broken regarding the child. He's choosing wife over child.
Respect.
Could just not tell her the truth and just say, "Here, I've adopted this child."
I mean,
too
she
late
did before
for
he
that.
did.
It's never too late.
Let's just modify her memory.
Exactly.
Make her
If we
think
can-
that she had this kid.
See? Magic solves everything when you think about it.
Magic and a loose
How many
bit of
memories are you gonna
movement.
need for 8 years of childhood?
I will wipe them all.
You gave birth to this child and dropped him by the wayside. 7 years later, here he is.
You just forgot.
Look how scrappy he's gotten. So resourceful.
There's certainly
Oh
no
my
ethics
God.
issues here.
It seems like no one's happy about this. Verity, chivalry.
Oh, Verity
patience.
is absolutely fucking fuming.
I'd imagine so.
Like, he's just stood there, just sort of breathing like a horse, just staring at his brother like nothing is being said at all.
Boy.
At this moment,
either-
Mrs. Higgs sort of, I don't mean to cause a scene, but there seems to be a rather royal procession outside the door.
God.
I can't help but feel that our living room is just not appropriate for this. Your Majesty, and then she sort of turns to the door. Your Majesty, I don't suppose the castle might be a better place for this? Oh, and Your Majesty, as she sort of looks over and Katrikin is sort of running up and joining the procession. The king is outside the front door.
Oh, the gang's all here.
So everybody's here
Yeah.
at the center of the drama.
At Karina's house.
At Karina's house, yep. You can see that Mrs. Higgs' primary worry is that she just doesn't have the food and drink for these people. It's not fine enough. I can put the kettle on?
I appreciate that. However, I think adjourning to the castle might be a good plan. I'll look pointedly at the royal princes who are still glaring at each other.
Verity sort of turns to Chivalry and, do I have a choice in this?
Wow.
Go wherever we're told, I guess. And then he sort of mutters, fucking dutiful son, and then walks out the front door. Chivalry sort of turns around and... The castle would be good, I suppose. And as he's sort of leaving, the king's trying to come in. And sort of, we're going back, are we? Very well. Sort of turns around. His flank of sort of 16 soldiers sort of doing a bound turn. The whole procession just proceeds up to the castle.
Should we bring Capet? Or, I mean...
After a short sort of moment's break, Queen Constance and Mrs. Higgs sort of come out. The Queen comes out your kitchen.
She's got herself some chips.
No, and she's obviously been speaking to Mrs. Higgs, and she's sort of, she's got a cup in her hand, and she sort of delicately sips at her tea, and I'm ever so sorry, dear. I didn't mean to press all descend on you like this. Some magic facilitated your return, I assume.
It seemed urgent.
Well, sort of, and you're sort of too late, I guess. But come on, I'm sure the family drama will be thrilling. Would you like to come and witness? She sort of gives a wry smile and a shrug of her shoulders and gets to walk out the front door, and she turns to Mrs. Higgs and, thank you, dear. Much appreciated. And she sort of realizes she's walking out the house with your cup, and then sort of turns to Mrs. Higgs and goes to hand it.
Wow.
Mrs. Higgs just sort of waves her off. No, you're fine. You're fine. You can go with the cup.
I would like to walk up to the kid.
Oh, you're going up to his room upstairs, yeah?
Yeah.
I was actually going to do that as well.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, a different procession goes up the stairs. There's a procession of soldiers towards the castle.
Make an orderly queue.
The party go in an orderly line and all walk up the stairs to Kepit.
I will.
I think it's to be fair that Karina will still be organising housey stuff while Luca is sort of snuck off with an apple in hand. And you head up to
Yeah, I'll finish the apple and not seeing it bin, just put the car on the side, put a towel over it. But I will knock on his door.
Yep. No response.
Wow, the Foley. Foley? It's just like when movies and TV shows where they add like extra sound effects.
Oh, okay, right.
It's like I'm really there.
Yeah, I will. I'm giving it experience. I will knock again.
Oh.
You just hear this sort of, yeah.
Aw.
I'll creak open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey. How's that deck of illusions working out for you?
Yeah, that's cool, I guess.
What's wrong?
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't hear
Yeah.
downstairs?
I wanna hear how you see things.
Oh, my dad doesn't want me.
Aw.
That may be true, but there's lots of people who do want you.
Yeah. It's not the same though, is it?
In some ways, it's better. Maybe it's better to have people who want you because they want you, and not just people who want you just because they've got you.
First, my mum didn't want me. Now my dad doesn't want me. What happens when
I don't
Karina doesn't
know.
want me anymore?
I don't know if it's possible for Karina to not want you. I think she's signing the papers right now. In terms of your mum and dad, if they don't want you, then that's their loss, not yours.
At least my mum had an excuse. He sort of shrugs his shoulders.
Well, you know, all the feelings and emotions that you're feeling now, and in this moment will pass.
Sure.
Also, I don't know if the food here is any good. However, if you do find, yourself eating burnt turkey, maybe this will help, and I will give him my pouch of dust of deliciousness.
Aw.
Oh, right. He sort of looks
Just
at
giving
it.
away items
Looks
to
in.
this boy.
He looks in, sees a pouch of dust, is a bit confused, looks up at you, is like, thanks.
Put your finger in just a tiny bit and taste it.
Luca.
Already hungry.
I didn't ask you if you was hungry.
He tastes it first. It's like, yeah, it's nice.
Okay. I'm
And
starting
it's
to
at this
see.
point that Karina is sort of arriving at the top of the stairs, and don't you even dare say I'm starting to see why people don't want you. Don't even think about
I would
it. I
never!
know it was coming out of your face. You put your foot down.
Wow.
I would never! How dare you? I so was. I was gonna whisper it to Karina.
Wow.
But I will refrain. Instead, I'll turn to Karina and instead we'll whisper, "This boy's robbing me out of house and home." And I will walk back down the stairs.
All right. Yeah, you see him looking up, and he sort of reaches to look past you a little bit. Seeing no one, he sort of gets up slowly and he walks over to you, and he doesn't really say anything. He just sort of nestles his head into your stomach and sort of just stays there. He says nothing.
I'll just hug him for a little bit. I'm really sorry that you had to hear all that.
Me too. It's better I know now, though, right? I should have known already. You didn't want me the first time.
There's a lot of responsibilities that come with being a member of the royal family,
Sure.
and some people aren't good at prioritizing.
You mean like when you have to go out on the boat?
No. Because when I go out on the boat, I think of you all the time, and that's why you see me in your dreams every night.
Yeah, that's good. I like those dreams. And I've got Mrs. Higgs here. She's still married in my head. I don't know why. She keeps becoming Mrs. She's married. She's got married so many times this session.
She's
a
a
widow.
widow. Thank
She's a
you.
widow.
She's widowed.
3.
Yeah, thanks for keep bringing it up.
Yeah, sure. She'll be widowed. She killed her husband. Right, anyway. I know.
I knew it. Fuck her.
She's that kind of woman, right? Just deal away with him. Can't be dealing with that. Yeah, anyway. He sort of looks up at you. So nothing's going to change.
Not for right now. Hopefully, I'll be able to be home more in the future.
It's kind of nice, though. I don't mean that you go, but that you're a hero. Right? Everyone says such nice things about you, and it's like, it's good. It's been good things.
Do our best.
He sort of nudges you again with his head, and then Mrs. Higgs sort of puts a hand gently on your shoulder. And then, perhaps you might want to make haste to the castle.
We'll see you tonight, buddy, okay?
He nods. And he sort of moves to Mrs. Higgs' side, and she starts talking to him about like going out and playing with the rhinoceros. You can only assume that that's due to the deck of illusions. He hasn't got a pet rhino in your garden, as far as you know. But yeah, and then she starts talking about like the teddy he's got there, and that was given to him by the Lady Patience, who had the mouse to turn up with a teddy bear in this situation. By the way. Yeah.
And we'll rejoin everybody back downstairs.
Okay.
This is gonna be interesting.
Right? Winona has her notepad out.
I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Well, wait, you're gonna
Thank
have to,
you.
'cause we'll take a short break.
No!
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of Soulforged. We were walking a la procession behind the procession, working our way up to the castle to discuss the abdication of the throne by the king-in-waiting chivalry, the potential location and upbringing of Kepit, who the next king-in-waiting will be, and how pissed off Verity is. In that order. Proceed. You have 10 minutes, 15 minutes as you guys walk up to the castle, a little way behind the main procession, to chat amongst yourselves. Is the party just walking in silence?
So,
chat.
Karina, will you change his last name?
given that he currently doesn't have a last name.
So will you change it to yours?
That would be part of a discussion to have with him, I think.
I'm just trying to make conversation.
It was never really my intention to keep him forever, but I don't see myself letting him go now.
So he will take your name.
Maybe.
It could be a combination of all of our last name.
Oh,
That could get lengthy.
You're right. Maybe we should just make it
that a
Wix
lot.
for
I like that a
short.
lot.
Brax break wrath wick flight?
You're right. Maybe it should just be Wix.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll think about it.
Okay. As just in case any other revelations happen, has anyone else adopted bastard princes?
Turn pointedly at Kai. Do water elementals have princes?
Or princesses?
Well, Kai is the only other parent here, right?
Yep.
Right.
That's not true. Winona's got an organization and a camel.
That is also
Oh.
true.
I don't believe water elementals have a monarchy.
No.
Maybe
Luca's
you
got a
could
stray,
start
but he's,
one.
Luca's got a stray, but he's stashed him away at his father's house. Have you forgotten
What?
that already? You have a stray boy, swift-witted. You've stashed him away at your father's
Oh
house.
shit, yeah, I do. Fuck. Maybe it's time to talk about something else now.
There is something that we should probably keep in mind now that Chivalry is abdicating his throne. That we very much are of a mind that Regal is still alive.
Yes.
How old is Regal compared to the other two? Is he above or below Verity?
Younger.
Younger.
We have a
Oh,
thing
I thought
that
he was
says
the
thing.
middle child.
No, we have a thing that says a thing. I'll ping it.
We very much know that Verity doesn't want the throne. Which means that if Regal somehow worms his way in and convinces Verity to abdicate, then it falls to Regal. Who
Well,
can
if
miraculously
Regal-
come back from the dead and be king.
But if Regal is dead, it could go to Princess Grace. If we ever get her out of that ivory tower.
She doesn't exist.
Her name's right there. Of course she exists.
A foolish error.
Then how did we meet?
I'm never gonna live this down. Like, it was such a stupid move. I'd forgotten how many royal politicking things were gonna happen. I was like, oh, yeah, not mad that there's an extra prince. It fucking will.
We, I don't think, have mentioned our suspicions of Regal's whereabouts to the princes.
You
I
haven't
don't
mentioned
know if now is
suspicions
the
of him being
time.
alive.
I don't know if now is the time to mention that, but at some point I feel like we should mention that to at least Verity.
I don't know. The family's weird. Like, weird in a weird secret sense.
I mean, it's not like things could get any more complicated, really. Right?
Why would you say something like that?
Why would you say that, Galthak?
My goodness. Walking past a wooden cart that someone's selling something on, I'm just gonna knock on it and be like, jeez, knock on wood.
What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, please,
Oh,
please stop.
Say it again.
Do you want to break a mirror too? Step on a crack? What's your issue, Galpac?
There's a ladder over there, Galthak, if you want to.
Don't worry,
Above
Black
your
Cat's
head
running
and-
across the street.
Doesn't fit under it. So you make your way up to the
Someone
castle.
just dropped a mirror out of a window.
And there's a sort of there's two guards standing in front of the door. As they see you, they sort of hesitate, and one of them looks a little awkwardly, and I will verify. Lady Karina, you may come in.
Excuse me. Do you know who we are? We're heroes of the realm, you know.
I'm sure you are. And he sort of walks in, and a moment later, Astrid Brightlance comes out, the Mad Captain, and she sort of looks at him and looks at you all, and I suppose you all have an investment in this discussion. You may come in, but I can't promise you'll be admitted to the chambers.
Now they want to be private about it.
She shrugs her shoulders and says, I don't know what they want to be private about. So, count yourself lucky.
As we go in, I'll tap Winona and tap the head just so that I can communicate if needed.
Winona taps her head, and you can all speak to each other. Is that how that works? I can never remember. Anyway, she opens up the phone.
Sorry, I had to take a phone call.
Yeah, I think you also just made a phone call in-game. You've opened up the WhatsApp
Fantastic.
group.
Oh, we're on the group
Nice.
chat. Okay, let me see. Yep. So y'all can talk through me.
Yep.
How long?
I'm about to roll that right now. I think it's just a D8. For 3 hours.
Oh, it's hours? Okay, it'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was 8 minutes. Okay. Oh, yeah, mid-conversation, the phone cuts out. Nevertheless, as you get to the chambers, the Chancellor comes, First Chancellor Erlen looks over, and he's been shut out, and he's pacing up and down. Sort of looks over, and he sort of just knocks on the door. And then after a while, Verity, sort of his face bright red, as if he's been screaming and shouting, just swings his head out and looks at lots of you. And, well, you might as well all come in.
Thank you. I will walk in.
He sort of shrugs his shoulders, and then looks at First Chancellor Erlen, and then he shuts the door in his face.
Damn.
As you get in, there is the king. At his right hand is Chivalry. At his left hand, Verity walks back around and sits there. To the left of Verity is Katrikan. The Lady Patience is notably absent. The Queen is standing up in the corner of the room, leaning against the wall, sipping at her tea. There's space around the table if you want to sit or if you want to stand. The king looks over at you.
I'll take-
Oh, you're joining us, are you? Lovely.
I'll take a seat.
Yeah, same.
So, I understand why the dad in question is upset. Why are you upset, Verity?
Oh no. Well, that happened. So I just noticed that we were on the map.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, he sort of looks at you and raises an eyebrow, and doesn't actually explain, because he doesn't really know why you don't know why he's upset.
Should I know why he's upset?
Yes.
He's been handed a
Right.
crown. He doesn't want it.
Get
He's
a
already so
grip.
stressed.
You're literally a royal. You know this is gonna happen. Sorry, I don't say anything, but still.
He was thinking that Chivalry would have to deal with this. Now he's got to do this vision things and be the king of this kingdom that is rapidly eroding. Tough.
Verity sort of gestures towards its father, and the throne doesn't sit well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say I'm excited to be in line for it.
But you could change things.
Like the line of procession.
Sure.
Yes.
I know someone in this room that would be very good for it.
Yes, me
Mhm.
too. And he swings his head towards his brother. An excellent king he would have made.
Not where I was going, but okay.
Chivalry sort of, I'm just doing what is right. And my decision is final. My wife and I will be leaving within the day.
And why is that?
I've abdicated the throne. I will not remain at the castle.
No.
I will see through my diplomacy at the border of Viscrandia.
Can I message to Luca telepathically? He doesn't want to deal with the fallout of the drama that his dingaling caused.
Yeah, so what he's
But
saying
he
is that he would lose the support of the dukes, he would severely weaken the position of the throne, and
Okay.
it would throw the line of procession into question because he isn't able to father a child with his wife, and he has a bastard, so would it fall to his brother? Would it fall to his bastard son? Would it fall to his brother's son? It would muddy the waters, so to speak. He has given you his reasons already.
Oh my goodness. Seems like a lot of crying from a lot of very privileged people.
Yeah, guys, your citizens are without souls, by the way, and they're heading this way.
Yeah, while you guys cry over a cheating scandal, your population's
you
being
know.
turned to zombies.
It's
I
the
think
law of the land.
It's more a case of trying to present stability in this time of trouble.
Uh-huh.
Not to create more problems, although perhaps that is a little too late.
So, Queen Constance, what do you think about this?
Well, chivalry's right. No. It would be very difficult to manage the waters if he was to remain king in waiting. That being said, you could use your skills at the least. But and she sort of shrugs her shoulders, and what's done is done. You can't undo it anyway.
Why?
The prince has abdicated. De-abdication is, well, not very easy to do.
Okay, so if you've abdicated and you don't want to, why don't you abdicate as well?
Already sort of. He puts his hand out, and you notice that Katrikan takes his hand. We'll do what we can to keep this realm at peace.
Great, so that's started then.
In the moment, I think you've just realized the very important thing about your rule. You're not alone, and this one right here is a very, very smart woman.
The Queen sort of. Not that any of them will be ruling anytime soon. She sort of
Literally,
gestures
what are we even
towards her
talking
husband.
about?
And he sort of. Oh, yes, well, that. So, is it. Have you made up? He looks to the boys.
Oh my goodness, the king is so oblivious.
Well, that's good. It was always easier when you two argued. You always made up more easily. You were always close. Far harder when you argued with Regal. Oh, Regal, my boy.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness, I avoid eye contact as he starts talking about it.
Yeah. The Queen just sort of awkwardly paces to the other side of the room.
Seriously, King, read the room. Now is not the time.
I told you he's oblivious to what's happening around him.
He definitely is taking the part of the doddering old fool.
He's a little
Yeah.
addled lately, yeah.
Yeah. Addled is right.
He's been
Mindful.
oh, what's that thing in Game of Thrones? Something of the poppy? He's had milk of the poppy. That's what
The
it is.
milk of the poppy.
Okay,
Yeah, that's how you say that.
just a heads up, that's not a Game of Thrones thing.
That's where
just-
I know
that's
it
just-
from.
Okay, cool. It's just life.
I'm not an alchemist.
Okay. You don't need to be an alchemist to take paracetamol either. But you know,
I'm not
hey.
making it. I'm not finding it in the wild. There are no paracetamol trees. Anyways,
Bloody hell.
so what are we going to do about these soulless? I mean, forged.
Forged, yes.
Yeah.
Verity sort of turns towards you and, is this really the time?
Oh, you're right. We could still talk about this wild family drama, which I thought you just squashed. You just told your dad you squashed.
He sort of looks at you and then, anyway, and then continues, like, talking about what he was talking about with, like, you've been allowed into the room, but you're in no way, like, relevant to the conversation.
Lord have
and he
mercy.
starts saying to his brother, you know, where will you go? What are you going to do? Where is your son? And he sort of, where is your bastard son going to be raised? What is your plan? Shiver returns him. To Withywood's, I think, to my lady wife's home. It's far enough away. I will still finish the diplomacy out at Escrandia, but after that, we shall retire there, somewhere placid and out the way. I'll still be there to advise, of course. As to my son, were it up to me, I would hand him to Burek, the stable master, but... Well, the boy seems quite settled. Is that right? He looks over to Corinne.
It's home.
It would seem that way. But, you've said little. Is this a role you want?
He is your son. But given that you're abdicating that responsibility as well, I would prefer him to stay with me.
That being said, Verity says he must be taught as a royal, raised as a royal, for he is that.
No.
They will acknowledge it. Not as part of the royal family, so to speak, but at least the etiquette. Etiquette? Wow, love a cat.
Wow.
Maybe I think you
Amazing.
the cat.
Eddie the cat. Etiquette, manners, a little bit of diplomacy. You know, things a boy of prince's blood should know. Perhaps how to handle himself in time.
He
You'll
has
see to it?
fine tutors. I'm sure a few more will not be a problem.
Perhaps the boy is of an age to ride, is he not? Perhaps that might be a way to introduce the stable master.
I do believe some lessons in horsemanship would be a good idea.
Perhaps he could ride to see his father in time. Wherever he retires to.
I'm gonna message Winona to message Karina and just say, I thought we weren't allowed to talk. Now suddenly they want our input.
I think
Royals are weird. Weird.
I pass this along.
An invisible mage hand just kind of like comes up and just palms Luca's face. Can't see it, but it's just kind of like just cool it.
point him at the fruit bowl.
it's just like just a moment, just like calm down.
Lucas stasis.
The king sort of turns around. Where's Riddle? He should be here. No? And Verity sort of turns. Oh, of course he should. One moment. And then he sort of wanders over to the door and opens the door, and literally standing outside the door is Riddle. With no shame at all, he takes away what looks like sort of a strange-looking earpiece. He just takes it out of his ear and pockets it, and walks into the room.
If it isn't the Master's secret keeper.
Well, this secret is one I wasn't keeping. He sort of nods to either of the princes. Is the boy to be trained? It would make sense. It's tradition.
Wait a
Like
minute.
your brother, my
Who's-
king.
I would ask that
He's suggesting that they
be
train the
kept
boy as an
out of
assassin.
everything to do with
Oh, I kind of like that. Actually, that sounds kind of badass.
Ooh, yeah, go cap it. In time, of course.
I'm
you know.
thinking that.
But small tricks, memorizing things, sleight of hand, that sort of thing, could be taught as fun for now. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to know the inner workings of why he's learning. Like I was.
Stay away from him.
It's not my decision. I do as I'm commanded. But,
Why can't he
if
just
I
have a
may,
normal life?
I took no harm from it. And the queen looks over the king's shoulder. Because he's a tool. And if he's not a tool that we take up, then he's a tool that somebody else will. Whether you like it or not, he
like-
has royal blood. And he's, will become an influential part of the royal family. No matter how he's raised, no matter how much of a normal life you wish to give him. If we do not take the tool up ourselves, somebody else will.
Wow.
A crueler hand would have disposed of the boy already. That may still be somebody's decision. He must be protected and taught to protect himself, but
To then just be used? Don't you already have someone like that already?
so it is time you took an apprentice, Riddle. The queen sort of
He's
looks
a
to her
child.
husband, and the king sort of once a week. Nothing too nefarious. Teach him the tricks of the mind. Tricks of the mind. King nods. So it puts. Well, that's sorted. Shall we adjourn? I'm tired.
Verity, surely you don't agree with this.
He looks over to you and still wondering why you're pooping. And he sort of.
I saved your sister, bitch.
Yeah, where's she in this relevant discussion? Anyway, he
That's
sort
what
of,
we've been trying to get to, actually.
Yeah.
Verity, if you don't want it so bad.
He sort of looks around and it's probably the best that the boy is at least trained up to the point where we can't change the decision. The training will do him no harm as a
Wow.
youngster. He's not being trained to kill people at 9 years old. He'll be trained to make things appear and disappear quickly in his hands, or mind games, remembering colours, little things like that. It won't do him any harm. It'll do him good. It'll be games.
You know, I would have thought that someone who's being constantly used would have some sympathy for the boy.
What do you suggest? That we
Mm.
idle him away to a pleasant pasture and let him pretend to be a peasant?
Why
He doesn't
not?
need to pretend to be a peasant. He could just live a normal and fulfilling life and not get wrapped in the drama of Exhibit A.
What is a normal and fulfilling life, pray tell?
You know, one that your people live.
Oh, yes.
Speak, now that we're on to the topic of your people, what exactly are we going to do about the Soulforged?
That is not
Because
what we're here
while
to
you
discuss.
guys, you know, fight about this, people are dying and being kidnapped, and souls are being taken out of their bodies.
Yes, we're well aware of the issues, far more detail than you would be. Regardless, that
Whoa.
is not something that we need to discuss right now. And he gestures quite firmly towards his father.
I'm sorry. What was Chivalry's plan? What was he going to do with the boy before? He knew he was alive.
No, he didn't. Today, he found out he was alive today.
No. I mean, before his village was raided. What was
Right.
he intending
So
to do with the
he
boy?
gave the money to the woman to raise her as his own and never admit who his father was.
Okay.
So basically, it was just gonna be pretend.
So he was just hushing it up anyway.
Yes, but it's too late to hush it up.
I see. Okay. Da, 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 da.
Anyway, it's been settled. The boy will be taught once a week.
All right.
Perhaps we could can go to my map chamber and discuss other things. Verity says, and he gets up and walks to the edge of the door, and he looks pointedly at Luca and, are you joining us?
Am I allowed to?
Shit.
Sort of shrugs his shoulders and, I did just offer. Anyway.
Oh, okay, so I'm
and he
permitted
turns
very
with
well.
He turns with Katrika and walks out the room.
Oh my God.
Just a question, Josh. Why do you think that Luca is entitled to be part of the conversation?
Well, first of all, they brought Karina into the conversation,
Yes,
which
they
then
have to.
opens
She's
the
been
floodgates
raising
to
the
the whole
child.
group. Still, I feel like, we've already been wrapped into the family drama prior to this exchange and prior to this revelation.
Okay.
And also, why invite us in to have a conversation to not then take part of the
I don't
conversation?
think they did. They sort of said you could sit in the room, because.
Oh, we invited
Karina.
ourselves in?
Yeah, sort of. He just didn't.
Well,
he just
that's
didn't
very
want
good.
to deal with the
Well, that's
drama
on
of
them.
turning you away, and you already know
That is
that's
on
the point
them.
of keeping it
That's
secret.
on them. That's on them. They never said, "Do not talk. Just sit and listen."
I was sort of. You kind of expect in the meeting of the king and his sons and the queen that you'll let the royals do the talking and you'll speak when spoken to, but whatever. Anyway.
Not when they're this outlandish. They're
outlandish.
wild.
Cool. Anyway, carrying on. The prince and Katrikan will hedge towards Verity's map chamber. It's suggested that you may wish to join. You don't have to.
I will go.
Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah. So, assuming that you all go, you
Yeah,
are.
well.
Yeah. You head over to that chamber, and he sort of gestures for you to sort of sit down. He turns and sort of appearing almost out of nowhere as Sharon, the Dragonborn. Food, or just drinks? Food would be lovely. Thank you, Sharon. And Sharon sort of shuts the door behind you all and heads out, and Verity looks around. The issue of the Forged should not be something that is discussed before my father. His mind wanders. His next decision is erratic as ever. And we do what we can in the meantime. You seemed concerned about it. Are there some details you'd like to know about?
I think it should be something we're all concerned about.
But of course, I mean, it's the primary concern of the entire nation is that we're at war. But,
I should hope so.
did you have a specific issue in mind?
Well, you said that you know way more information than I, so what information do you have?
1,206, I believe, is the count.
Oh boy.
I have a list here, and he sort of reaches out to a drawer and he gets it out. And these are the ones we have names of. We have paid blood money to those that are left disinherited. We've also paid for repairs and homes for all of those who have been left either homeless or cannot go back home after the raids. Over there are the tallies of the cost that is accruing the crown to keep care of the witted. The witted, the forged, ignore the witted.
Whoa, different
these
topic,
are
bro.
Witted.
Wait a minute.
We'll get onto that later.
Picking up blood money.
He talks about the smaller patrols, the cost of the soldiers keeping watch. We have every detail.
Okay, that's not really what I thought you meant, but okay.
You think we are paying no attention to it? But my lady wife brings brings another issue to the table. It is thought that they're advancing on our city. She said she spoke to you all of this.
Yes.
We're tracking
we've
one who is
heard.
nearing Garrow. I expect him to be at the city within a couple of weeks.
Just the
Okay.
one?
One group. There are 4 of them.
Oh.
I kind of have a theory as to why they come into the city.
Yeah.
But
Please share it.
It feels like a crazy theory.
Please share it.
Sorry, are you
I
speaking
think
as
the-
Luca?
No,
Right.
I was just speaking as me. Yeah, I would not say this out loud.
You can speak as Luca into my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
So
brainstorm.
basically, even though it's a wild theory, I have no basis for it. I think they're all coming to the city because somehow, for some reason, the unborn baby, well, the baby that's like growing at the moment, is like a beacon, and that's why they're coming to the city.
Like it?
Oh, talk about Rosemary's Baby.
Who the fuck is Rosemary?
Never mind, never mind.
Have I missed something? There are people being born in my campaign I don't know about.
First
Probably
of all,
more
is it
Rosemary
causing
somewhere
any
having a
new
baby.
issues, or is it just the same that we've always seen?
Because there is a Rosemary, who you're going to meet fairly soon. Sorry,
Ooh.
is this a new issue? Is what a new issue?
Forged, have they been causing any new issues, or is it only the ones that we've been witnessing already?
Well, the banditry on the roads, the attacking of random people, the that sort of thing is continuing.
What's being done with those who are coming here?
Well, we haven't had any arrive since you suggested that we let them in. We're waiting for that to happen. Those that did make it here were dispatched. There's little we can do for them at the moment. We have had a couple of men, they don't know why they do it necessarily, but they ride out and throw loaves right to the side of the road near the forge. It is a swift but quite vicious death. It saddens me, but at the moment it is still my father who has the right there. There is a small group who are being looked after at Shale. If you recall, was it Shale or Carve? I think it might have been Carve, sorry. There was a group of them who, it was Carve. There's a group of them who were being looked after by their relatives, like almost forcibly given, the chance to live. That experiment is still going on. But no progress has been made, despite it's been almost 8 months. They're still as vicious as they were in the first place. We can't protect the whole coastline. We can't barely protect any of it. You've been wonderful on that ship, and we'll continue to do what we can, but it's like they know where we defend. They always strike somewhere different. On that note, I'm changing the patrol path of the Regal and Traverse.
Oh.
Just in case something has slipped. We're going to make it a little bit more random. I'll inform yourself, he looks to Karina. Day by day or week by week, where to head to. We'll be covering all the way from Yarsgrove to Wormscrag. The entire breadth of the coast. So Wormscrag is up here, Yarsgrove is down there. So you'll be doing that way. Obviously, the boat won't be going the left-hand part of that square.
Oh my goodness.
We have outfitted the other boat, the Revenge.
Whoa, cool name.
Yeah, we've named it before, but you can
I forgot it was such a cool name.
So the Revenge has been outfitted, and they are trying to outfit another boat at the moment.
Well, so we're gonna go back to our same boat.
I'm sure we would have mentioned this before, but I would bring up to Verity the white ship that had supposedly been receiving or giving messages at Tradeford.
White ship? So, just to remind you, it wasn't giving orders at Tradeford. A man from Tradeford was seen going out to a white ship on a boat.
Oh, that's not what my notes are saying, but okay.
What exactly do your notes say?
Tradeford has been receiving messages via a white ship. So,
yeah,
it's the gist of it, but...
Yeah, but there is somebody has been seen going
out from Tradeford. Okay. Has anybody looked into that?
Well, we've looked for this white ship. We've had many people look out for this white ship. There have been a couple of other reports. You mentioned seeing one during a battle, I believe. Nothing. We've tried to track down the man, but The Duke at Tradeford is quite private.
He's so private that the royal family means nothing to him.
We can send emissaries, and he will, of course, profess complete innocence, but it's difficult to work out what's truly going on. Perhaps in the winter. He sort of shrugs his shoulders. Right now, it just can't be my priority. Though it is terribly important.
Seems like one of your cities likely communicating with the enemy should be a pretty high priority.
Well, we've tried to infiltrate with spies, we've asked honestly, and I've even demanded information from the Duke himself, but there is little more I can do than that, until this man appears again. He's being watched for along the river. Speaking of pale folk, an unusual advisor has been seen at Felkeep. I wonder if perhaps you might look into it the next time you pass down there. I think you might have been briefly told about this before, but I'll just reiterate.
I think so.
So a strange pale man recently arrived at Felkeep and began to advise Lord Kerif. Unusual boats have been coming at unusual hours, and he's been seen leaving the castle in the middle of the night at Felkeep, which is down the bottom of the map. It's not a duke there, but he is an advisor to a lord. Strange rumors have been coming out of there. Unusual parties or meetings at the keep. Something to do with meat. Either strange meat or no meat, or it's been very garbled rumors. But there are rumors of
Vero.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm assuming there's not a dragon in this little chamber within the castle. He's flying out above, hunting.
Oh, I wish.
He's eating strange meat.
He just crashes through the window. What? What do you want?
What have I done this time?
This meat-based problem seems very interesting.
Verity sort of sighs, and I suppose I should get back to the tower. But I just wanted to make you well aware, Luca, that we are not ignoring the issue of the Forged. It's just my father's counsel is not that reliable at the moment. So speaking of issues in front of him might result in him expressing his wishes that countermand that which we're already trying. Without my brother, this is a heavy load.
I never meant to like you know, didn't care. I'm just saying, you know,
It sure sounded
it all seems like what's going on in your family is a very small thing compared to what's going on with the people of the world.
If you see it as a family issue, yes. But if you see it as the right man to lead our country in these times of trouble, my brother may have made a mistake, but he would have been one of the finest rulers that Arvenia's ever seen.
But your father's ruling at the moment.
For what good that's
Not for
done,
long.
Whoa, does Winona say that out loud?
I think it.
Well, he says,
By which I imply that the dementia is clearly advancing.
yeah, he says for all the good that's doing us. He gets weaker.
I have to ask, Verity, if his mind is no longer well enough to lead, is there a process?
It is a difficult one. We must prove to the Dukes that he is not sound of mind, and at many times he's very sound of mind. At many times he isn't. After which, we'll go to vote. It would be a very difficult process. It would be easier for us to quietly take the reins from him without him realizing too much.
I like that.
That is what my brother decided, and I think it is what I will do as well, for now. My Lady Mother has been very helpful in this process. though she takes no responsibility for the role herself. If my father should die, she has already stated she will not take the crown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. That would really, fix this whole issue.
It really would, honestly.
This is what she meant earlier when she said that unabdicating is an incredibly complicated process. She declared almost 20 years ago that she wouldn't take the crown if he died.
Oh my
wow.
Reversing that process is obviously she didn't know she was going to have a war and a bunch of abdicating sons.
Sure, but I feel like
she
she's
thought,
like,
I've got 4 children, it'll be okay.
Sure. But it's also a bit like she's like, it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of signing.
No. The problem is that
We
they
go
have to
through
get
that.
every duke. They have to get every duke to agree, and some of the dukes are not a big fan of her because she's very outspoken, and does what she thinks is right whenever she thinks it's right, like walking off to carve.
What a girl boss.
Yeah,
Literally.
So she would find it impossible, really, to take the crown back now.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, she's been facilitating handing power to her son, and is now going to help pass that over to Barrett.
Okay.
Back to my tower. I think that
Is this the same
perhaps you
tower
have-
Grace is trapped in?
Oh no, she's in Clyde. She's holidaying right now.
Oh
she's
my
over there
god, the
somewhere.
princess!
Not time to be on holiday.
Yes, I think we sent her to Morecambe.
She's by the seaside for her
I
health.
believe my lady wife had some things to discuss with you.
Oh boy. Yes, please.
And with that, he sort of leaves to his tower, and you notice that there is a stoop in his body. As he opens the door, Sharam arrives with the food. Are you leaving, sir? Okay, I'll bring some up to your tower. And he puts one tray down, and then he comes in and he puts the food, sort of moving maps as he goes, just neatly tidying around, and he puts the food out on the table, lays it spread out for you all.
What's the food?
What is the food? I think I'm prepared for this question today. Bear with.
Oh no. What
Is it
the-
cashews?
You just have to know that every time you mention food, Josh is gonna ask what it is.
Yeah. So this is, for the most part, a large collection of pickles, pickled herring, various pickled fruits. There are different bits of smoked meat and bread, hard-boiled eggs, and small pastries filled with meat, and a large selection of cheese, and 2 pitchers of Waterdale.
Cool. I'll grab a couple of sausage rolls and a couple of pasties.
Mhm.
Mentioned sausage rolls. I did not.
You said meat.
The
You said-
pastries?
Oh yeah, sure.
with meat
pies.
in them.
Yeah, so meat pies are very different to pastry. It's sausage rolls.
Oh, do you mean like a steak pie?
Well, okay, this is medieval times, so the pastry's sort of like folded round on a bunch of meat in a sort of gravyish sauce. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that doesn't
wow.
sound very
Steak
flattering when you
Mm-hmm.
describe it.
They're tasty.
I'll take a couple of slices of meat instead.
Yeah, there's smoked meats and bread and cheese. Yeah. And as he sort of places the tea down in front of Katrikan, you see that it is a deep purple color. And he just leans over and
Ooh.
sniffs it one more time just to double check, and then takes a different, slightly purple brew that smells really bitter up to Verity's food. But you guys have Waterdale, so you'll be okay. And Katrikan sort of looks around at you and, well, that was a day. And
Sheesh.
she looks to Karina. How are you doing?
Not well. Not well. It's been a day.
You know, the teaching of the boy. You don't have to use the skills you're given, and they can be used in many ways. I'm sure they'll teach him some small tricks, but they'll also teach him to be sharp of mind. From what I've gathered, he's already quite a sharp boy, so don't fight too hard. It's easier to direct gently. We'll what's the phrase? The velvet hand or something. Anyway.
The what?
Well, he can be guided gently towards better things as opposed to forced. Don't fight the king, just subvert his will, is what she said.
She must be using a Mountain Kingdom phrase.
Ah, yes.
Honestly, I'd rather he just be taught by anybody but Riddle.
Oh, well.
Ooh, you want me to teach him, Karina?
What's the problem with Riddle?
He has broken my trust.
And how's that?
No need to gossip. He's broken my trust and he'll have to earn it back.
That's fair. I think he's a good man, somewhere under the teaching. I can't imagine Discretion was a gentle teacher, from what I've heard of him from Verity. Anyway, I brought you here about something very different. And she sort of puts a large map on the table that looks like it's been drawn on fish skin. It's like scaly on the back and it's quite thick and it's been leathered down.
Some poor kobold.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fish, Josh.
Okay, fine. Whatever the fish race is.
Locathar.
Those people. Yeah.
Those
Poor
guys.
those people.
Yeah,
Kuatoa.
Hey! They're in the sewers, don't worry about them.
No.
Anyway, I do have a sewer map if you guys want to go there for this.
We don't really need to go to
Let's
the
not go to the
sewers
sewers
today.
No, if I never
Jay's
go down
out.
the sewer.
That's saved you,
Jay's
Jay.
gone to bed.
It's gone to next session. But she sort of lays this map out, and now I don't know much about this, but an old sailor got this for me. This is a map, I believe, of the part of the Desolation, part of the south.
Ooh.
And here, and she turns it around and sort of points to a word written in strange markings and runes. Does anybody speak Draconic?
Oh, you know, look at us.
it, baby.
Oh, wait, I do
You
too.
wanna
Forgot.
read it? Come on, I want to read it. Though.
No, I don't think so.
Not very
I wouldn't
well,
have taught her to read it.
Fine.
That's too much power.
Luca, you will recognize it. Karina, you'll recognize it as Draconic, but you don't actually speak it, do you? That was yes, I speak it, or no, I don't.
I could cast comprehend languages,
Right, but
since
right
Luca
now you
knows
don't.
it, I'll
Okay,
just
cool.
yeah.
And she sort of jabs at it, and I think that says the Arch of Solas, something like that. If you read it, Luca, you will see it is the Ark of Solas.
I hate to burst your bubble. This is just a map to a tavern.
She looks at you.
I'm lying.
Just razzing her.
This is a map of an old city in the Desolation. And I believe that
I'm just joking with you. Jeez,
Right, I
the
see, not
mood
the
in
time.
this place.
and then she sort of points towards it, and you'll see it's the Ark of of Solas. If you
Sure.
Would that be
just
The-
cooperate.
would that be arc like a ship or arc like
ARC.
a rainbow?
ARC,
Ah.
Ark.
Yeah, not like Noah.
No, and the marking beneath it is like an arch, which is why you can see that she thought it was that. And well, just a thought, it might be a place to start. There's tales here.
Absolutely.
Tales from here, according to the sailor. He was, well, I think his mind was whittled down by rum and the like. It was only the enticement of coin, I think, as I was down there, that managed to pry this out of his hands. But he spoke of tales of the older folk, the ageless, the old ones. Could easily mean the elderlings, no?
Yes.
This could be huge.
Thank you, Katrikin.
So, yeah. I was thinking, well, perhaps not. And then she pats her belly.
What?
But,
Oh, she wanted to go?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
I don't
not.
know.
She's
We're
sort of-
pretty full.
Before my husband inherited a crown, I thought perhaps second son, myself, we might journey there and see what we could find. But, well, with the newer responsibilities, I don't know. He doesn't listen to my tales of them yet, but I can tell he's intrigued. He's just... I think he's afraid to hope.
You know, if you wanted to get away, you could both fake your deaths.
Yeah. We
A
know something
little
about that.
Take the responsibilities
extreme.
that we have already and make them into hope and security for the entire nation.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I'm holding to.
Okay, you're not wanting to actually go on an adventure.
Of course, I want to go on adventure, but duty calls.
Okay, well,
We all have to make our own sacrifices.
I
This
feel
is
like I'm
ours.
getting mixed signals.
You know, I'm
What I
messaging
want
to,
and what
to
I must do
Luca.
are not the same thing.
This crowd, they are responsibility first.
Especially her. She's all about sacrifice and duty. And...
Except-
Exactly.
Yeah, except when it comes to taking the crown, then they're like hot potato, hot potato.
Not these two. Not these two. Well, thank you. I just wanted some assurance that I hadn't purchased a piece of fish skin off a strange sailor and was wasting my time.
I mean, you definitely did that, but it's at least useful fish.
Well,
skin.
Absolutely.
You should see all the
I
maps
feel
I've
like,
discarded.
I feel like you're the only one with their eye on the prize.
Pile in the corner with these strange maps. It's like you wouldn't believe what people claim those maps
Yeah.
lead to.
I'd hate to see the receipt for all of these.
The Holy Grail.
Our tax
weird-
dollars at work.
One weird map
I
to
know,
the Isle of
literally.
one weird map to an Isle of Sorcerers. Another one to
Say!
another one that claims to be
Nonsense.
yeah, I know. One that claimed to be Eden, the land of creation itself.
Oh, the
Ah.
things these people come up with.
Don't need this junk.
No. Well, I'm glad that you think it important. I'll have a copy sent to you.
The Spice Isles? What kind of name's that?
Thank you for your...
You in the Spice Isles?
well, I believe there's a band from there that are quite
Whereabouts?
successful.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think they're called.
Oh, I was more thinking the girls.
Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll go with
Okay,
that,
so-
it's a bit easier. Whereabouts in the desolation?
Yeah.
Somewhere over there.
Sorry, can
Well,
you ping that again?
Oh.
Oh, there.
Well,
never mind.
no, the point is it's way off the
there
map.
it is.
Damn.
No, it's right there. I'm pretty sure.
We found
Pretty,
it.
pretty sure
Look
it's
at the
right
map.
there. Directly there.
James, I know it's a different world, obviously. I think, but in Segravia, dragons quite like bathing in the sand.
Yes, that's a general dragon thing. It's not a.
Like it is a general.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pharaoh's got to like go in there.
Yeah. It makes their
Aw.
scales
Okay.
very shiny. And
Aw.
they need the heat to grow as well.
Oh, say.
Heat and sand is how they get bigger. They go there in the winter.
Cool.
Anyway, with that said, Katrina will let you go. You may head back to Karina's house for a slightly less royal dinner. And
Yes.
chill, happy time with Cedric. Cedric? Wow. Kepit.
Who's
yeah.
No one
That
knows
is-
What the
Cedric.
hell?
That's almost as good as
That's
Ex's
Karina's
cat.
butler.
That's as good as
Aye.
Ex's cat. But on that note, we shall move to the timeless tradition of MVPs and end session.
Oh.
We are going to cut right there.
Goodness.
I'll start where I finished, and I believe that was with Josh. Hello, my ball of chaos. What was your MVP?
So, even though like it's incredibly like, not like I don't mean it in a bad way, but like annoying and frustrating that the royal family is such a mess. It is also like very very entertaining. That they're like just so all over the place and so like, you know, just flip floppy with their, you know, thoughts and ideals and wants and stuff like that. But it is very, very entertaining. But my like main MVP is seeing Karina become a mother.
Aww.
Jamel.
The amount of drama one kid causes in this campaign.
I mean, I think you're underestimating how dramatic it would be in old times for the line of... I mean, even nowadays, the line of procession getting muddy.
No, I mean, I'm not underestimating it. It's just the
Yeah.
amount of drama that one kid is causing. It's just like...
One prince says he wants to
all
live
of
in the
this-
States, and suddenly our papers say they have the same, story in for 6 months. I think, morals are
Yeah.
drama. Even when it's a small thing. Right? One little pebble. Allure.
I mean, I definitely loved the Keppa and Karina talk. But I think I wrote it down immediately as soon as you said it. The queen comes out your kitchen. Just like we had no idea she was there, and suddenly she just walked out of the kitchen with a cup of tea, just like, oh yes, it's been lovely talking to you, Mrs. Higgs.
That's very Queen Constance. Like, she's very sort of just down to earth and all gets on with it. She's dead in the books. Jay?
No.
Spoilers.
Like, she's dead before the book starts.
Oh.
Oh, all right.
But I loved so many things about the character and how they talked about it that I just thought, fuck it, I'm keeping it.
Heck yeah.
So, she's another one that's going to have to fall off a tower at some point. Jay, your MVP. And why is it Princess Grace?
Yeah, falls off with the daughter. It's a pact.
Exactly.
Oh
dear.
Yeah, the little interaction with like all the interactions with Karina and Keppa were just so sweet. And then also the funny MVP when Luca knocked on the door and Michaela commented on it and we all just cracked up over it.
The problem is the laugh came so hard I didn't even hear what she'd said. Speaking of which,
The Foley.
Yeah, the Foley work was incredible. But yeah, speaking of Princess Grace, I just love that she exists and is, just not presenting a solution to this problem. I love that. But also, Karina and Kepit was fantastic. Yes. Also, Luca and Kepit I thought was really cute. I don't know. I feel like Luca has a soft spot for some folks, and it's nice to see it come out now and then, even though the kid was maybe not receptive. I thought it was a very, very cute, his attempt to cheer him up.
Yeah. Obviously, it's quite difficult just to, offer some comfort when the kid's just found out his father was
Yeah, and then he said, here's a bag of dust. Here, try it.
Taste it.
Taste
Wanna
this,
try
young
some
boy.
dust?
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, he's like trying to give him drugs.
Yeah. I thought that conversation was really touching as well, to be fair. Like, before the dust and deliciousness happened. But, like, I thought it was really touching, sort of, what's wrong and sort of chat. I don't usually like role-playing kids. That's a weird one. But obviously he's an important part of the book, and he's a very important part of the book. He's the main character. But yeah, he's an important part of the campaign. And I think that it's actually been quite touching, quite emotional having him involved. I really liked the sort of responses to the prince's arguing. I just liked how sort of boldly Karina sort of strode in and why are you arguing in my house?
Oh yeah.
Was good.
Put them in their place.
Yeah, I loved the irreverence of Luca in the meeting room. That was great. But a couple of moments just stood out to me. I liked the way where Winona was just modify her memory. I think she's had this kid for 8 years. I love that. And then the big moment of it for me was all this drama was going on and like all this emotional stuff, and the brothers were arguing, and Josh said, "I'll look to the fruit bowl." And then
I'm just trying to break the tension.
And then you took us on a journey of an apple. Because you then talked about eating the apple. Then you talked about disposing of the core somewhere in Karina's house and covering it in a towel. And then a moment later you were in the room with Kepit and trying to comfort him with the loss of his father, and you went, "I know the food might not be good here sometimes." And I just think the journey of the apple was I just thought it was great. I had so much fun with you being very silly today. In some ways, and very serious in others. Obviously, we had quite emotional and heavy moments, so Yeah, obviously, more time skips to come. We're just going to go a few months at a time. So things will feel like they're sort of happening like a pile of dominoes. Not that everything's going to fall down, but you know what I mean? Like, effects will happen very, very quickly, one after another, because we're ignoring the time in the middle. But I think that should lead to an action-packed campaign. So, yeah. That being said, that is where we're going to end. So if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
We shall see you soon. Very soon, in fact, tomorrow.